prison because I wanted to avoid writing a book in which I talked about the things I've been able to do with my life after prison, and then people lose sight of what prison is. And also I wanted to sort of avoid people kind of saying that, like, this dude is some type of hero because he got over. Because the truth is, there's a lot of people that almost get over and nearly get over, and the only reason I got over is because all of those dudes don't get mentioned. I mentioned like 80 of them in this book, though. In like one chapter, it's just 80 names, and I'll read that later. But so I'm gonna go to chapter 3. This is Fairfax County Jail, R-Cell. This is my introduction to what it is to be in a jail. This is pre-trial detention. Before I was found guilty, before I pled guilty, before I was sentenced. This is what happened. Fairfax County Jail. In the jail, a woman passed by me with fake eyelashes on and a brown uniform of a deputy, tighted skin on her body. From where they left me, I saw a group of men gathered around waiting to get mugshots. The mugshot declared that I was property of the state, the stamp. Without it, I had a sinner's chance of leaving the jail without the burden of cuffs. The mugshot made the reality of my one day going to prison real. Up until then, the shuttling back and forth in the courtroom seemed a formality to my release. Believing that I would go home is an insanity that I recognize now. But then, I thought it was possible to confess to carjacking and have a court walk away with a my bad. A do-over. It doesn't so much matter now. I was even cuffed while they snapped a picture of me, caught up trying to test just how far into the streets I could step without becoming their victim. The handcuffs on my wrist reminded me of freedom. And the jail meant having on handcuffs even when I didn't have on handcuffs. It meant always waiting to be moved from cell to cell, but never from cell to home. The deputy taking my mugshot didn't need much time to tell me to get back on the bench, but it took at least 2 more hours before someone called out, "Bex, you're moving to an R-cell." R-cells. A few walkways of one-man cells in the basement of the Fairfax County Jail. There, men shouted for everything and nothing. On the door, screaming at one another about what they lost and what they had left. I walked along even though a deputy led me to the jail cell that was empty of everything but the grit and grime of all the men who had laid their bones on the concrete that served as a bed. Alone. And all I could do was close my eyes and imagine how much time the judge would give me. The sound of the cell door closing was another closed fist upside my head, and it was only after that that the guard reached into the tray slot and uncuffed my hands. The jail cell was the barest room I had ever seen. The walls not white, but a mix of brown, yellow, and the peeling of age. It reeked. The deputy walked away from me without speaking. All he left me with was a blanket that would cover half of my 5'6" frame if I stretched it. He had to come back and give me a blanket is what I thought. That's why I didn't yell at him. Didn't remind him that I didn't have a sheet or a mattress or a real blanket. I expected him to get a mattress, to be treated as if I deserved not to sleep in a cold cell on a cold slab of concrete in the dead of winter. Although it was cold, I peeled my sweater off. When I threw the colorful mess onto the slab of concrete that was my bed, it landed on dry spit. Days passed and I still had no mattress. It was February and cold, and I hadn't changed my clothes since walking into the jail. Deputy, hey look man, look in this cell. I need a mattress, a pillow. All y'all left me with is this small blanket. The deputy didn't start walking, but he looked in my direction. How long you been in there? He moved along as he asked his question, then stopped and walked back toward me. I thought, if he looks in here, he'll be able to see that I smell like I've been living in a puddle of piss and sleeping on cold concrete. I've been in here about 3-4 days. Deputy, I haven't had a shower, no phone call. This ain't right. You gotta do something. I was begging and learning prison 101. You could beg, but that just made you feel like the time was doing you, like you weren't in control of yourself. Worse than that, you could beg and still not get anything. I didn't get a mattress that day, and after asking for a day or so longer, I gave up on it. I learned to ignore the night air as it cut into my skin. Ignore the indents and ridges of the concrete scraping my face. I learned a little bit about how to say F everything and still look forward to tomorrow. Just about every deputy I saw in those first few days at the jail was white. Every judge was white, and even if it made no sense, I was seeing the world along color lines. The thing was, part of me wouldn't let me reduce my being locked up into something about race. I had no problem reducing moments to race when cuts were tight and a little too tough, or those nights in the art cell without a mattress. There were times when I knew that if I was a young white boy, I wouldn't even have been in the jail. But part of me knew that it was the gun in my hand and that man sleeping in his car that made my mother sad. The night at the Springfield Mall landed me in a cell, and in a way, it didn't matter that I didn't have a mattress. I knew that if I hadn't robbed the man, I wouldn't have been in the art cell and wouldn't have been wearing the same underwear for all the days that I was checking off with the scratch marks in the wall. The funk from my clothes told me that in prison, you ain't nothing. And the population scared me. So while the lack of a mattress frustrated me, fear always trumped frustration. I learned to deal with the cold, the cutting concrete. I didn't know then how I deal with the men in population.